What's up team, Matt Prince from Royal Fitness. Now, what I wanted to share with you today is 5 of the best glute exercises that I use with my athletes, that I use myself to help improve not only how we look, but how we perform and how we prevent injury and all of those things. So a lot of people will know that weak glutes will equal hamstring issues or a lower back issue. A lot of people know that. A lot of people know that glutes are the driving force for not only running, sprinting, lifting, doing all those things, jumping, striking, but people with strong hips are generally pretty badass people that you don't want to mess with, right? And then there's the other aesthetic side of it. So people that want to look a certain way, right? Whether it's changing the way the glutes are shaped, whether it's building a bigger butt, whether it's having pants that don't fall off. And this goes for both guys and girls. I've had the same conversations with probably as many times with guys about their glutes and building their glutes, whether it's for performance or for looks, as girls trying to look good with their glutes as well. So what we're going to go into is 5 different exercises that I think will work very, very, very well. And if you're not doing them, tie them in some way to your training. Or if you are doing them, you might take some little pointers from this that might make it more focused on building your glutes in the way that you want. So let's get stuck into it right now. Okay, exercise number 1 in the Build Yo Glutes plan. Now, kettlebell swings, they are one of my favorite exercises. They don't only train the glutes, but they'll train the whole posterior chain, everything from upper back to the bottom of your Achilles. But what they do really, really well, because of the nature of them and the way there's a really high speed eccentric, so that down portion on the swing through, they'll train the glutes and the hamstrings and the lower back to work as one piece and fire really quickly. So it has a really good performance carryover, as well as it will build up the hamstring tie into the glutes and the lower back all at the same time. So it's a big bang for your buck exercise. Now you have to do it right though, right? I'll see a lot of people do it wrong, and I've talked about this in other videos, and I just want to show quickly 2 ways not to do it. One is the squat swing. So people will squat and they'll basically squat and then they'll raise their arms up, right? And you can see here, there's a squat motion here. I'm getting my bum low, chest is up, and then I'm pulling it up with my arms. That's a no-go, right? That's for multiple reasons. It's not a good way to swing. It's not an effective way to get your glutes involved, but it's also, it just sucks. So don't do that, right? Do the hip hinge swing, which I'll show you in a sec. The other thing that I'll see a lot of people do is they'll try and lift it with their arms. And you'll see this a lot in specific sports. So you'll see it in different programs and stuff like that, where they're doing the American style swing, getting the kettlebell all the way overhead. It's just not needed and it's not necessary, and it limits the amount of weight that you can handle to get through those hips, hamstrings, lower back. So you want to make sure that you're using a weight that you can swing aggressively to about here, right? Any higher, you probably just got to go heavier, right? Don't force it up there, but you want to go heavier and just stop putting it over your head and get more out of the hip hinge, which is what we're doing it for. If you want to go overhead with a different exercise. So the way to swing and the way to get the glutes active, you really want to sit your butt back really hard. A bonus point on how to get this swing to be more hip or glute dominant is to go in a sumo stance. So taking the feet out wide, that'll activate it in a different way and it'll help build the glutes a little harder. But for now, you can go either one. If you've done no swings before, do them this way. If you want to try it out and go heavy with them, sumo swings are a very, very good one for the glutes too. So from here though, you can see from the side, my bum's out, my chest is up, I'm going to swing, my hips come right back and I pull that bell all the way through. And I'm putting a lot of power. So when I'm here, the drive starts with my glutes. It's boom, it's exploding hard. I'm squeezing my butt. I'm squeezing everything in my body to get that weight up. It's a reactive type movement. So I'm like snapping at the hips there. So swings are a very, very, very good start, right? If you've been doing them, make sure you're doing them with those hips going right back and you're getting that hard snap. If you've been doing them like that, try the sumo, see how it feels. And even start trying to go heavier, right? See how you go there. We've got, at Royal, we've got bells up to, very excited about this. Today or tomorrow, it's meant to be here tomorrow, but I'm hoping it comes this afternoon. Got my 92 kilo bell coming, so we've got up to 92 kilos to swing, but you can always use double bells if you don't have the stupid weights like that. That was more for something that I can have a play with and test out and see if it's actually worth other people doing, but we've got every bell from 4 kilos up to 92, so you've got no excuse to limit your swing strength. Anyway, that's exercise number 1, give it a shot. Okay, so exercise number 2 is the long reverse lunge. So long reverse lunges are a glute builder that I think are very underutilized. I do all of my lunges personally, I do them reversed, and I recommend all of my athletes to do the same, right? Every member that comes in, I'm always like, step backwards. Like, why? And I'm like, just do it. The reason for it, it allows your glutes to work a lot harder rather than jamming up that knee. So when you lunge forwards, what you'll see is you'll go like this, and a lot of people focus on that front leg, right? And they're not getting much out of the glute. They're not getting, much apart from that quad pump here. When you step backwards, you'll see, do the same leg, there's a completely different angle on my shin, which allows this glute to load a lot harder. Now, if you go a long reverse lunge and you're doing them on the spot, that's going to be really hitting that glute, it's really stretching it out. No different if you'll do a really, really deep squat where that glute starts to fire. That's a similar kind of concept there. So when you're hitting these lunges, weights by the side, you can lean forward a little bit. So your body's forward and you've got that angle. You're stepping back really, really far and you're just up and down on the spot. Boom, boom, keeping constant tension. Now for bonus points, raise your feet. So you've got deeper space to go down, whether you're on boxes or plates. That'll make it a lot harder and it'll allow your glute to stretch a lot more. But that's a really, really good one to start trying. If you have been doing lunges, start elevating both feet and see how you go. So exercise number 3 that is a favorite of the glute builders for me is the high step up. Now, high is relative to each person, so this height might be good for me, but the lower one might be better for you. It depends on your height and basically how long your legs and stuff are. What I'm looking for though is that my knee starts above my hip. Okay, so again, it's hitting like if you were to do deep squats, because everyone talks about squats being a good glute builder, and everyone squat booty and all that sort of stuff. The reason squats will work is if you're getting a good stretch through that high hamstring and the butt when you're at the very bottom. If you do quarter squats, you'll just have big quads. And you can see that in a lot of the cyclists and stuff like that have massive legs when they're squatting and they're just doing those squats to build their quads to help their cycling. That's basically what this is. But this will allow a simple way to get that depth and basically you're pushing up. So you want to focus on this leg driving, not using this. You can use weight. You can definitely load any of these really, really hard. Chest up, I'll sort of lean forward a little bit and I'll come boom. Stepping up, control it down. The control down point is where you're going to get the muscle tear, that eccentric growth basically. So from here, you're powering, boom, explode up, control it down, nice and smooth, boom, control it down. All right, now some bonus points, if you can, is do it like a pistol type squat. So you're doing it without touching the leg to the ground. So if we were to say, we say we're on the side here, what you can do is you can set up and you can basically come up, boom, and you can control, hit the bottom, and then drive back up. That's going to be a harder variation. Again, you won't be able to load it as easy as a high step up, but it's another one to play with if you're advanced with that high step up. So try that one out. Make sure that you're going hard with it. You're focusing on getting that glute to activate and fire, and you'll be absolutely fine. You'll find it gets you the next day. So no glute conversation can be complete without the hip thrust, right? Brett Contreras, who's a guy, they named him the glute guy, right? I think he named himself the glute guy, but basically he's the godfather of glutes and he talks about hip thrust being the best. In his book, he's done all scientific studies on how the hip thrust will activate, X amount more than the squats and the deads and the lunges and stuff like that. It is a fantastic glute builder. It is one of those things that if you're just trying to look at getting your glutes bigger, it's a very, 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 very good way to add in. And the best part about it, right, it can be done in a number of ways. You can go heavy with a bar and you can load it right up. You can go light, you can do single leg, you can go bands, you can go, especially with a setup like this, you can have bands over your body, you can have absolutely any setup you want, and you can do it in a variety of ways. Now I'm just gonna show you the basic way, and I'll show you just with body weight, and you can imagine I've got bands on me or weights on me or whatever. We've seen girls do up, I don't know, that was past 150 kilos for reps and stuff like that in the gym. And not only that, you see the strength in this, like in the glute directly, it'll also have that carryover to all those other performance benefits that we've talked about. So it's not something to neglect. I think hip thrusts are very, very good, but you have to do them right. So the way to do them right, no matter what hip thrust you're doing, and this is what I've found time and time again, when you come down, right, you want to come all the way down. You want to get that full depth, full stretch, just above the floor, so you end up in this position. When you come up, what it is, a lot of people tend to overarch, right? They're looking back, or they're sticking their chest out, or they're sticking their belly out, and that will load their lower back and not get the glute. You need to focus on the glutes doing the work, and that's the way the pelvis moves. So what I do is I'll come down and I'll basically squeeze my butt, but I'm looking through my legs and tensing my stomach down, okay, the whole time. So I'm nice and tight, I'm strong through the core, everything's here, boom, glutes are getting worked, right? I'm down, boom, boom. You're also getting hamstrings, you get lower back, but if I start to relax that belly and stick my belly out, That's in my lower back now, not in my glutes. I feel it in my hamstrings and my back. Okay, so you need to make sure you're looking through your legs, boom, nice and tight, getting a good squeeze, coming down. Okay, so you've got that variation, you've got the frog stance variation, so your feet together, knees out, boom, coming through, same concept, right? Both will hit the glutes very, very well. Both are a very, very good one to add in to isolate the glutes, right? And you'll find that in itself, or all these exercises in themselves, we'll leave it so you don't have to worry about doing all the stuff on the floor where you're doing fire hydrants and stuff like that, all the activation work. It all has its place, but these things will give you a bigger bang for your buck and build those glutes very, very quickly. All right, glute builder number 5. This is last, but certainly not least. This is a fantastic variation to get the glutes happening. Now, I'm assuming if you've trained, you've done Romanian deadlifts at some time. So basically a Romanian deadlift is you've got your feet about hip width, chest is out, shoulders back, your bum's coming back, you're getting that good stretch through your hamstrings, boom, coming up, right? So your legs are pretty much straight, boom, and you're getting that good hip hinge. Now, fantastic exercise, by the way, to not only build the lower back, it'll hit the glutes, it'll hit the hamstrings. To take it to another level, I have found that doing sumo Romanian deadlifts, and sumo in most things, by the way, whether it's a sumo box squat, sumo deadlift, a lot of that will activate those glutes a lot harder, and it'll also hit those adductors a lot harder. Now, there's arguments that will say, you know, you can lift heavier on the other one, so it might hit the glutes a little bit differently. I've found that most people though, in terms of the level that we're at, in terms of our training and our progress, the sumo will be a really, really good one to teach the hips and the glutes to fire. So something to consider. Now, when you're doing sumo deads, the hands will be on the inside of the legs. Basically, legs will be out nice and wide. Generally, you would start it from the floor, so there'd be weights there, and you're gonna have your legs pretty straight. The bar will be on your shins, bums up, chest is out, and you're gonna basically pull up the legs, boom, to lock out, hips go back, control it down, get that eccentric that I was talking about before, that down phase, boom, coming through, boom, and again, you're snapping your hips through, you're keeping your core nice and tight. Okay, not bending the knees too much, right? The movement's coming from the hips coming back, boom, driving it up. Now, when hitting these, it's not going to be as heavy as what you can deadlift, and it will hit the lower back really, really hard as well. Not a bad thing, especially if you're looking for performance, you're looking for strength gains, you're looking for progress across the board. So another one to throw in. So what we've got, you've got a whole group of exercises to play with. Swings, you know, or a sumo swing if you want to change it up. You've got your step ups, you've got your lunges, you've got your hip thrusts, you've got your sumo Romanian deadlifts. All of these will build up those glutes in a way that not many other exercises will, right? I mean, I'm going to assume that you're doing your deadlifts and your squats. I'm going to assume that they're in there, right? Still do them. Make sure they're done with good form. But I find these ones are better at building because you're not only focusing on lifting maximal weight, you can actually slow it down and think about the muscle working as well. So that's another side benefit to this. So guys, get strong, load them up, become dangerous across all ranges of rep levels and set levels and all that sort of stuff, and turn your body into that machine that you want it to be. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. If you're looking at training or you need help with your training, message me, I'll help you out. But guys, keep training hard. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.